Welcome back. I tested my workflow. I said it last week as well. When you add blocks, test your workflow every single step. Like I already said, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. I guess you can figure it out by now, or you can guess it by now. I got an error on my workflow. So I can click on results in the top right corner over here, and you can see that my run failed. But now I can show you as well how you can really track down what happens. So I can go to the transcribe block, go to the tab output, click on view block results, and you can see that my latest run of 1126 was actually done. So I'm going to go back, go to growth potential, click on view block results again. I can see that it is done. Spoiler alert, it is in the last block. So I'm just going to go ahead to this part. I asked Patrick, well, one of our main developers, what happens. Apparently, I have to add ID to the attachment. It's something that apparently is useful in technical world. If you have a technical colleague, he's a developer or semi-developer, you might know that you have to add ID over here. Click on save, click on publish, click on run again. Like last week, I saved data to reuse in the future. Workshop test data to John Doe. Email address is mine. Name of coach is Patrick. Gonna run now. See you in a bit, and hopefully it works now. So I'm happy to share that I indeed got results. You can see over here that the workflow is actually done. The subject line was still anything because we added anything to the subject line over here. So now real quick, we're just going to add one small prompt block to make sure that every single personal development plan gets a personalized or a unique subject name. So I'm going to click on edit over here, click on the plus and click on or type prompt block, drag it to the right, create some space, and this is the subject line of email. So input, I'm just going to stick to GPT-4o because it's a quite a small prompt. Gonna add a prompt over here, which I already prepared. You can see it's over here. Write a subject line, summarize the development plan in 3 words, include the name of the coach, example subject line. I'm gonna click on save, and then I need to add the settings items as well. So the development plan, like I said, I want that to be summarized in 3 words in the subject line. So I need to add the development plan as well. I'm going to need to add the name of the coach as well. Name of coach, click enter. Click on connect data source by development plan. Block output is obviously the development plan. Name of coach is the input of the workflow because the coach will enter their name themselves. Click on connect. Go back to the prompt again. Write a subject line, summarize the development plan. It's connected. Name of coach is connected. Example subject line is connected. So I can click on save now. Then I obviously need to connect these two blocks to each other. Go to the send mail block. Subject is not anything anymore. It is this block subject line of email. Click on connect. I'm going to click on publish and run again. I saved some data to reuse in the future, so it's already there. I can click on the run now, see what happens, see if I get a personal development plan with a unique subject line in my inbox in 1 minute. Gonna test it out now and see you in a bit. So I can go to my inbox and I can see in the top line that indeed there it is. I received the concept version of the personal development plan at 11:57, which is just 1 minute after I started running the workflow. I can open email and I can see the subject line strategy, innovation, and success. I can see the amplify sign. It isn't put in very nicely, so I'm probably going to edit this one out later. Insights with Patrick being the name of the coach that they fill in themselves. Then underneath here, you can see the body of the text. Obviously, you can edit this any way you like. You can see the attachment over here, which, like I said, is the concept version of the personal development plan. So now what we've built is that the coach can go to the form that you have published. They can fill in just three fields: the audio, the name of the coach, and the email address of the coach. 1 minute later, they received a concept version of the personal development plan while you spend, I don't know, maybe not even 10 euro cents. I'm sure you cannot do it yourself for that amount of money. So imagine, right? You have built this workflow, made it publicly accessible, and your clients and your colleagues are going to use it. And then suddenly you get feedback from your colleagues, from the coaches, that the talent chapter should be much more elaborate. It has to be almost as big as this workflow as a whole. So in that case, to keep this part clear and structured, I would recommend to start building a sub workflow, just like I said, to keep this part intact. So what are we going to do is we're going to go to the left-hand side. Underneath the run section, you can see the workflow block. I'm going to click it and drag it over there, and obviously connect the transcribe block to the sub workflow, because that's still the input that we are going to use. We're going to rename the workflow block to sub talents, copy it because I'm going to need it later again. Input, I can select a workflow that I already have in my account, or I can click on the create button over here, which is what we're going to do now. And boom, there it is. Now I have a new workflow in which I can work to write the chapter talents. So we're going to go to the general. It's called Subtalents, and in the top bar, you can see this is the main workflow, coaching talk to personal development plan. And underneath that, you have the sub workflow. It's called talents. We're gonna click on the background of this workflow, go to the second tab, input, and the input data obviously is the transcript. So I'm gonna type transcript, click enter, and you can see it's text. All right, I'm gonna go back to the main workflow, refresh this page, and click on the workflow block here again. And there you have it. So underneath input in the workflow block, I can select the transcript over here. Click on connect data source, transcript, click on connect. And now the transcribe block is connected to the workflow. The workflow is called subtalents. You can click on the open button over here, and there you have a whole new workflow to basically start writing your talents chapter again. One more time, that is predominantly to keep this part intact as a whole. You can experiment in the sub workflow, use this data, obviously, put it in the sub workflow, and just start building again.